And we're going to share all those data very publicly with everybody so you can see kind of what the teachers think as well.
Do they have a say in the survey, or is that just
Of course, yeah, it's for everybody. You want to mention it?
And I would just add that, obviously we had teachers as members of the ad hoc committee, and it was, in some cases, a learning experience because some of the conversations included the importance of recognizing that we're currently one of 3 divisions that is not aligned with other school systems, and when that is happening, there's concerns around daycare. And so if we're in school or another school system is out of school, we have to look at our staff members who live outside of Falls Church City able to come to work, because sometimes not just school-age students, but students who are in daycare, the daycares are aligned with the other school systems calendar, and there's childcare concerns, and so all of those things were considered and factors. Yeah.
Yeah.
both sides? I've had people say it doesn't work for me, and they start Labor Day, and I've had other people that are in Fairfax County, and they want it to be after Labor
Yeah.
Day. And it really just, I was a teacher, and I took a job where I took it, and, you just make it work for you. And I feel
Right.
like teachers took a job that started after Labor Day, and then now, or all the teachers that maybe live in Arlington,
Mm-hmm.
if Arlington doesn't change their calendar, are they all going to leave?
Yeah.
Are they
No,
all
it's a
Alexandria, are they all going to leave?
yeah, it's a really good question. We'll go here and then there. Okay. Yes, sir.
My question jives with what you're talking about. If the idea is to provide teachers daycare and SIG,
Mhm.
is Falls Church City going to give up its snow call days and say, well, we're going to defer to these other counties
Mm.
because those teachers who live in those counties,
Mhm.
their schools are closed.
Yeah.
We could be open.
Yeah.
Fairfax can't. Are we going to defer to Fairfax
Yeah.
calls?
So the question was, are we going to defer to snow calls? And the answer is no. We do take that into consideration. That's part of the process that we go through. I'm just really glad you raised that on this really cold night, because I know snow is coming soon. But it is part of consideration. But if you look at historically how our snow days align or don't align, you would notice in the pattern that we don't follow Fairfax County, we don't follow Loudoun County. We are much more aligned actually to Arlington and Alexandria than we are to Fairfax County and Loudoun, simply because we're smaller and we're more of a city than they are, and they're more rural and larger.
And Arlington and Alexandria are the school districts that start after.
For now, Arlington may be changing as well. Yep, it's a good question. Let's go here and.
Actually, my question was, which days on here are the snow days?
Yeah. So that's great. So what days are in the calendar that are snow days? We build those in. So what we do is there are 2 methodologies for counting students' attendance. The first is days, and everybody wants to start with 180 days. And if there are snow days, then you start counting hours, and you get down to 990 hours, which is the minimum number of hours that a student has to go to school. So we've built in to our calendar snow days, so we have some flexibility and room in there. And here, and then we'll go there.
I guess my question is, which one of the 3 Labor Day starts is the Fairfax County calendar, and why don't we just adopt that then?
None of them are the Fairfax County calendar, and the reason is that our staff put these together, our staff and our committee put this together, and they wanted to work it through to make it Falls Church Cities.
I guess so that I'm a little confused. I thought that the idea is to,
It's more aligned, not mirrored. It's just to be more aligned.
I absolutely agree, when we were all parents, you're right. Daycare and childcare is so important.
Mhm.
Has the city explored other options, such as liberal leave, emergency daycare, things like that, to ensure that those group of teachers that do have that as an issue do in fact
Yep.
have the childcare they need, regardless of the calendar, regardless of snow day?
So great question about leave for our staff.
Yes.
It's really hard for us to give liberal leave or emergency leave because your kids come to us, and
Not
if
emergency
Yeah, but I was going to get to that. So we are and have been trying to seek solutions for emergency daycare, and there have been occasions where some of our staff have brought their children, and we've been able to try to work that through. We're trying to formalize it a little bit more, but it is something that we are trying to figure out because we recognize the importance of that. Yes, sir.
Just an observation kind of question. I've noticed that I guess, monthly or periodic early releases on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's still doing every Wednesday early release for the middle school or the
Elementary.
Is that gone now?
No, great question. What we didn't put in here were those monthly, we will maintain that monthly half day for the secondary schools. So middle and high will still have their half day once a month. And the elementary school, there's no change to the half day Wednesday. Those will continue.
We're one of the last school districts that doesn't, correct?
Yes.
Do we not recapitalize a whole bunch of school days by getting rid of them?
We potentially could. That wasn't one of the items on the docket for conversation this time.
I will say though, during my campaign report,
Oh.
one of the things we were talking about teacher retention is teachers hold that very sacred. So I think where we can't match, when we get middles, we do pretty well with salaries until teachers get mid-career and then Arlington outpaces us. So we try to find ways, I'm speaking personally, not for behalf of the school, but finding ways that are not going to hurt the budget. But also, early release Wednesday, where teachers have to talk development or meaningful things, it goes a long way. But it's also a strain on for the parents, so understand that.
Yeah. Sean, Ms. Russell, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment in terms of teacher retention as well. I know we gotten a lot of comments from teachers in terms of what, the calendar and their thoughts. And I would say that, unanimously, what is the message to me is the teachers value that so much more children. I think that, what I've heard from the teachers who are actually from the teacher system is that that's very important to them because it's time that they can also take vacations with their family, that they need the time off for mental life, et cetera. And so there's been kind of a mixed bag in terms of a lot of the other calendar situations or options, but that's who we want to break with them again. They all stay together.
It was very interesting, a sort of a study in maybe phenomenology or sociology, I'm not sure, but the ad hoc committee, because it was such a diverse group of people, our teachers were really saying, we really like that 2-week break, and the parents were saying 2 weeks is way too long. So that's why you'll see a pre-Labor Day and a post-Labor Day option that both have a 2-week and less than 2 weeks is out there. Yes, and then we're going to.
What is the Falls Church's policy on teachers bringing their children with them?
Yeah.
I went to school with my dad, who taught junior high school. I went to school with my mom, who taught elementary school, both in public schools. My mom school so much school that the office knew me. Are parents, I mean, are teachers as parents bring their children to the classroom, or is there a policy?
There really is a policy not to. There are a couple of jobs that and the question was, can teachers bring their children to school? There are a couple of jobs in the system that we encourage people to bring their children, but it's more of a recruitment type tool. So, for example, we invite bus drivers to bring their kids so they can drive our buses to recruit. But we do ask our teachers, in emergency situations you can, but as a rule, we prefer that you not. Now, again, we're looking at some other solutions for those emergency situations. We do have a daycare program here that, if possible, we could potentially stand up for employees' children. But again, that's bringing hourly employees that only work before and after school in during the day, and that becomes a complicated solution. But we're trying to work it out. Yes, ma'am. No more questions. Yes, sir.
When you look at the pre-Labor Day and post-Labor Day options in general, how does that play with the SOL schedule? Like, where
Yeah.
does they fall out? Because I'm certain if you've got pre-Labor
So
Day,
take it
taking the SOL much closer to the end of school.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, the testing windows was something that was considered, and not just the SOLs, but also the IB exams, and for some students who may be taking AP exams, because when you're looking at IB and AP, those dates can't be changed. With the SOLs, the good thing is that they do give you a window, and so depending on how many snow days you may have or when you start school, you can set the test or schedule the test toward the end of the window. But yes, the goal is always to provide as many instructional days prior to those testing windows, whether it's the SOLs or AP or IB.
Oh, you remember your question? Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna have the survey, people are gonna have the results
Yep.
published. Obviously, that's one factor, what the school board's gonna decide to do. What are the other factors?
Well, we will be working with the school board. They know what the drivers are and the factors that went in. My expectation is that we will likely make a recommendation to the school board based on the information that we return back from, that we get from the community. If it's a flat, 50-50, then we'll have to sort of navigate that and figure out, what is the best schedule for students, taking into account all those different drivers. But I like any survey, I imagine one of them will rise to the top, and that would likely be the choice that we would recommend. Now, the school board might say, you know what, we don't like that one. I try not to guess what the school board's going to do anymore. But Mr. Anderson, do you want to?
Sorry, that was perfect timing. I would just say that, just as a reminder, there's a number of opportunities for comment that will come after the survey. So we'll have our meeting, at the beginning of December, on December 10th. Do we have those? For folks to come and make public comment, we'll definitely be hearing public comment there. We've already had public comment, and people will send emails to the board, and our clerk, I'm sorry, Marty, I'm going to make you talk before, but that's also there.
Yeah, I can tell you that the email address is calendar@fccps.org. We've gotten about 35 comments in that inbox. Judging from some of your questions, some of them might have been from you, which is great, actually. And we did, just by the way, share all of the emails that we received prior to the ad hoc committee doing their work with the ad hoc committee. So they were able to see all of the feedback that we received going into that. But as Mr. Anderson indicated, there are going to be another couple of opportunities for public comment, both at regular school board meetings and then even the night of the adoption of the calendar in December. So, yes, sir.
I'm going to go again to retaining our teachers. If you look at the 3-row Columbus Day, Monday before and Election Day, I look across that and say, my student is home.
Mhm.
But to teachers, it's a holiday or a professional development day.
Mhm.
It's a teacher work day or a professional development day.
Mhm.
How much of a difference does that make to the teachers?
Those are days that, good question. So the question was on those Election Day and some of the options on the Monday before Election Day. Some of those, yeah, some of them are teacher work days, like the Monday before Election Day. Yep, that's right. So those teachers would still, if they were parents, would still have kids at home. Those are days that we can account for, that we know in advance that are going to be off. And our teachers have been very good about making arrangements for that. And those are days that we are a little bit more flexible with our staff as well, because other students aren't in the building. Yes.
So again, I personally like to start after Labor Day, so I probably personally vote for that. But how, I would like to vote for what the teachers are voting for.
Yeah.
How, will there be an option to find out what the teachers want? Like, is there a survey just for them, for someone like me, or one of those?
Well, they're part of the big survey.
There's no separate,
So-
it's hard because there's no
Yeah.
outcry. I feel like they're afraid to say anything. I'm a teacher.
I don't think they're afraid to say anything, because they've said anything. Yeah.
It seems like they're almost
Yeah,
take whatever comes and.
there was a lot of representation on the ad hoc committee. We asked them in those meetings to try to stay as agnostic as possible. I will tell you from a teacher perspective that I did hear the more days of instruction prior to any assessment is always helpful. Now, I don't know if that means that they would prefer a pre-Labor Day start to a post-Labor Day start, but I will say that one of those options gives you more